Hello and good morning or good afternoon. We received your email last night and we're really happy to be working with you. It's a shame that we can't meet in person, but with all things considered, it is what it is. I'm Jeff Clark.
I'm John Murphy. I'm here and happy to help you make your business into everything that you can with your transition to e-commerce.
So I think honestly, Rare Retro turning its focus onto e-commerce is a fantastic idea. Um, it's relatively low risk. It's real cheap and easy to get all this stuff started up. So I think with online marketing being the new medium for businesses to put themselves out there, I think this is a fantastic idea. So we actually did some analysis on just the overall strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats on the entire e-commerce field. So,
A
John,
SWOT
if you
analysis, if you will. Mhm.
a SWOT analysis, yes. So, John, if you'd like to get that started.
Of course. So I'll start off with the strengths. So the original owner of Rare Retro was a famous jazz musician, and you initially found a lot of loyal customers due to positive word of mouth.
Great guy,
And
by the
that's
way.
great. Yeah, so you've already got a great base built up. You've got great loyal customers. Additionally, Rare Retro offers social appeal, and customers are drawn to the unique atmosphere, which is great. And like adding on to that, it's very niche, which is especially appreciated in their eclectic neighborhood. So you'll find a lot of people that like to come and experience something unique like that. A coffee shop and music mix, that's something new. And by incorporating e-commerce to your agenda, I think Rare Retro will cater to a larger market size. You'll be able to find a lot more people, a lot wider variety. And also by creating a website for consumers to buy your vinyls, you'll have another sales channel in addition to retain customers at your physical location, which is always good. You can never have too much, cash flow. And also bringing in music from like other countries, like international music exports and stuff, that could be advertised and may gain some like music collector type clientele, which is great. I've got a few more. So with the addition of e-commerce, you'll have the ability to collect consumer data, which will just help you optimize the way you run your company in general. And similar to how e-commerce like will increase your market size, it's also going to sort of with online business give you a virtually infinite reach to consumers, making it possible to handle even international sales fairly easily. And after 20 years of operation, you've built up a good reputation, like I said earlier, making lack of credibility a lot less of an issue, which many times with like starting up an e-commerce industry, that can be a big issue, just like proving that you're legitimate. So that's some of your strengths. You've got a lot of strong strengths, and that's great. But let's go over a few of your weaknesses, or potential weaknesses anyway. One of them could be customer service challenges. Like many online businesses and e-commerce businesses that start up have a hard time overcoming the lack of face-to-face interaction, which can lead to bad reviews and just decline in clientele in general, which would not be great. And perhaps due to the market price costs being slightly, like your prices are slightly above market price, which was due to having like your whole unique thing going. But because of that, you like have a lot of people that may come in to your physical business and they kind of just stop in and listen to the music, but they don't really buy any coffee or any vinyls. And that's kind of been an ongoing issue. Additionally, if e-commerce is implemented, pricing would have to become more competitive. So you'd want to stand against direct competitors a lot better. So you'd have to definitely lower your prices a little bit in the online spot, at least. And in order to draw attention to the new e-commerce department, I'd say that your advertising budget will definitely need to have a bit of an increase. You'll have to spend a lot more on maybe like Google ads, social media advertising, etc. But I think that's about it for the strengths and weaknesses. You're pretty solid. I think we've got a good thing going here. And Jeff, would you go on to the other two parts?
I sure can. That was fantastically said. So starting on the opportunities, just social media in general and having that news channel for marketing is huge. It's free or at least very low cost. And with the prestige and fame already presented in Rare Retro with, the famous jazz musician, it would be pretty easy to start getting an online following and to start building that up. There are also not many competitors that I know of when it comes to selling online vinyls. I believe in America, there's only about 1,000 vinyl record stores. So you're in the clear when it comes to that. And, uh, your market size expands tenfold. I mean, you can market towards fans of the genre, music connoisseurs, collectors, etc. And something that I've noticed recently is that there is a rising popularity in international music. So, and while you might not have K-pop vinyls, but a huge international group that has been blowing up as of recent is K-pop and bands such as that. So I think having that extra international step to get those vinyls to sell and distribute amongst Americans and vice versa could be huge. And now getting into threats, the biggest issue here is that vinyls aren't really too common anymore. Not many people have record players, not many people buy record players. And as far as I know, I don't know of many places that produce record players. So the target market might be a bit smaller than anticipated, but that's okay. Now, one of your biggest competitors right now would have to be Amazon, which would have a bunch of individual people putting up these records at really low costs. With the prestige around Rare Retro, though, I think we might be able to get around this road bump. And then one of my biggest concerns was once you shift into e-commerce, that there's a possibility that you'll lose sight on like the local market. And so I want to emphasize that you need to keep focusing on the local market so that you keep that local coffee shop while also going in to the e-commerce market and getting onto that online sort of spectrum. And now moving on, I just kind of wanted to give a comprehensive understanding of the before versus after e-commerce. So as of right now, Rare Retro's main product is blues, jazz, and world music vinyl records or albums. And you generally sell them at a price that is higher than market value. Your main method of promotion right now is word of mouth, and you're based in a local metropolitan coffee shop and record store. Right now, your market size is pretty small and based locally, and your location caters to them with in-store purchases. Pardon me. Currently, Rare Retro is a very personal experience with a very good reputation, which is fantastic. And then I believe after you go into e-commerce, it's possible that in addition to the original vinyl records that you already have, Rare Retros may also come into contact with some foreign or not so regular music and records that would be huge to add to the market. And you could even invest in maybe digital music like MP3s or a system similar to Apple Music, a subscription-based system. But moving on to market value, like John said earlier, you're likely going to need to decrease your market value because of the intense competition from Amazon. So, from what I noticed on Amazon's website, the record prices ranged from anywhere from $15 to $45. Now, like I said earlier, with the prestige that you have, I'm certain that you won't need to lower your price precisely to match that, but it's still something to consider. And sorry, rather than just talking and communicating and marketing through word of mouth, you can use social media advertising and the Rare Retros website. Uh, it is possible in the future that you could franchise out and maybe make branches for distribution once you get into the e-commerce, but that's something for the far future. And rather than having a more local market, you're going to have an international national market. It'll be much larger than anything ever experienced. So I would recommend that you increase your team. You didn't speculate what your employee base was like right now. So I'm going to make an assumption and assume that it's that sorry, that same 10 people. And so I recommend easily doubling that in order to fulfill what's it called? Customer service needs. Finally, you may find yourself working with services like the US Postal Service more often in order to deliver and get all the vinyl records to where they need to be. So, overall, just from my perspective, our perspective, it seems like e commerce would be a big plus. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Hmm.
And so, thank you for having us here. I really appreciate you taking your time to listen to us and to talk with us about e-commerce and just our ideas on it. You don't know
And
how
I
much it
SWOT
means.
analysis. I hope our SWOT analysis really helped you get a grasp on what you can improve and what you should do going forward in terms of e-commerce.
Amen. Thank you so much for having us. Have a fantastic day.